Well, hello everyone, and welcome here to Stellos Stadium in downtown Nashua, New Hampshire. Nick Anastas, Russ Moyer of 603 Lax. We welcome you inside our FNL Lacrosse Game of the Week here on FNLNH.com. We are simulcasting as well with BCTV. Bill Jennings and company up here in the booth with us. And as we turn our attention to the field, the BG Cardinals hosting the Bedford Bulldogs, two of the better teams in Division I. The Cardinals still riding an undefeated record, while the Bulldogs come in as the underdog tonight.
Yeah, it's weird to hear the Bulldogs called an underdog when you've got that much talent in a town. We were talking about that earlier, Nick, and there's so many athletes that are on the field right now, and Bedford certainly has a lot as well. So it's great to see two teams, and a lot of these kids all know each other from playing in the summer or just growing up next to each other. I think there's 6 or 7 Bedford kids on that BG team. So should be a great game. Obviously perfect weather here at about 72 degrees. Just an excellent night for lacrosse. And the shadows are coming over the field.
Yep.
And we're ready to go.
The Bulldogs in their road black shirts and shorts. Red lettering with white trim, white letters across the chest that says Bedford. While the Cardinals in their home whites, white shirts and trunks, the green lettering, the gold trim, Guertin across the chest. And this is going to be one to watch all night long, right? The face-off.
I think this is one of the key matchups on the field. You got a freshman for BG who's quite good, and then you've got a two-headed monster for Bedford that they'll be rolling out. So I don't know which one they'll put out more often, but they're both juniors. And I think right now I see number 28, and I can't pronounce his last name properly, but Pagliaro.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. But he's been pretty good. I watched him in a couple of other earlier games, and he's a state champion wrestler. So when it's low and it's close, he's a battler. But so is Luke Romanak on the other side. So we'll see what it looks like.
Of course, Romanak, the freshman, has made a lot of headlines so far this season for Coach Chris Cameron. And it looks like, yep, the first one will go to BG. Cardinals going to go right to left. We are just underway, 12-minute quarters. Ryan Cameron, the star, a monster shot. Is going to rattle off the crossbar and bounce all the way to midfield, where it goes out of bounds on the far side, and now the Bulldogs will have their first possession on attack.
And that's something you're going to see a lot tonight. The Cardinals like to do a lot of early offense versus getting set up into the 6v6. They'll do it, obviously, but the nice part is they're able to go right away. And right there you saw Brian was able to get his hands away and rip a shot off the crossbar. That thing was moving.
Here now is Ryan Toscano, member of the football team. He'll come near side, go behind the cage for Kyle Fink, who looks to make his move near side. Now pushed back out towards the wing. They'll swing it far side. Quick shot there is wide of the cage, out of bounds. It'll stay with the Bulldogs 30 seconds in.
And that's Gannon Lowry that's got the ball there. He's a pretty solid player as well. A nice finisher inside.
Now trying to battle from behind the cage is Dawson Clark, the youngster, and he's going to get stripped. Lost it, turned over. BG going to come right to left. Ryan Flynn, the senior defenseman, will cross midfield, and then he loses it along the near sideline. Taken away by the Bulldogs' John Cusack. He's knocked to the ground, and now our first whistle sounds, and the possession will belong to the Bulldogs. Some physical play early here in the first minute, no score.
And that was Flynn. He's actually going to be playing Division I lacrosse for Siena this year in the fall. So he's a good player. He's very athletic.
Here comes Bedford. Cusick near side now, giving some space. Drop it off top of the box for Devin LaFrance.
And Devin's a trigger guy. I mean, Devin, if he gets his hands away, can dial it up for sure.
LaFrance trying to draw a triple team. Leaves it up top for Cusack. Thought about the shot from about 20 yards, but thought better of it. He'll regroup on the far side wing. Minute and a half gone. Bedford trying to strike first here on the road on senior night. Largest senior class that Coach Cameron has coached at Bishop Guertin, all honored in front of mom and dad about a half hour or so ago. Again, Bedford left to right and taking their time here on this trip. Toscano now top of the box.
Toscano drew the pole too, so they know that he can actually go to the cage real hard.
Behind the net, Fink, spin move, trying to work his way to the far side pole. He's pushed out. And Fink's pass there is off target. We got a loose ball and now a whistle as the ball goes out of bounds, and that turned over to the Cardinals.
And Fink's being covered by Doug Barker, who's 6'6", 6'7". I don't even know what the height is, but he's got some length and some reach. So
meanwhile, Sam Prunier, in some trouble near side as he had it poked loose and taken away by Charles Stewart, the midi for Bedford.
Yeah, it's Flynn right there doing Flynn-type things.
Flynn with a nice move, and now he's got to run to the cage. From the near side, he's going to shoot and score. Goes top shelf, and the Bulldogs have struck first. 2.5 gone by. It's 1-0 Bedford here in Nashua.
Now that's been some sloppy clearing on the Cardinals' behalf, but you have to give the credit to the Bulldogs. Once they got it in transition, there's no pole in the state you want the ball in their hand more than Eric Flynn. And that kid's got some skills, and he'll put it in the back of the cage.
We talked to Eric Flynn on our Sunday broadcast, FNL Lacrosse. Sundays 9 to 11 on FNLNH.com. And well, you can tell he's a bright individual, as well as being obviously one of the more talented players in the state.
He is. I mean, he's got stick skills that you just don't see on long poles. And I was actually just looking out there to see if his future college coach is here, Ed Stevenson from UMass Lowell. A lot of times they come after their season is over to kind of see how the boys are doing, and I'm sure he'd be very happy to see that play by Eric Flynn.
Yeah, so 1-0 Bedford here early on as the Bulldogs look to gain some momentum on the ensuing face-off. The official taking his time. Now the whistle. Romanek thought he had it and then thought better of it. Still loose and pushed ahead towards the BG cage, where it's scooped up by one of the Cardinals defensemen. That's Doug Baker. So from their own end, Sean Cameron, one of the two coaches' sons, the sophomore, on a full sprint across midfield.
He's going to get a shot here.
He's going all the way to the net, shoots low and wide. Wide left out of bounds. It'll stay with BG.
That's what Sean is good at. He is so good between the boxes, and then once he gets his hands free, nobody shoots as hard as him right now.
His brother, Brian, behind the cage. The big 6'3" senior. Trying to muscle it up. He's with Dimitri Aganost on the far side pole.
Drawing too quickly, too. I mean, they went early to him.
Now Sean Cameron, near side wing. Little stutter step, top of the box, bumped out. Stays with it, gets a screen, has room, fires, and that shot won't get through. Pushed back, BG recovers, and they'll reset.
You're going to see an alley dodge here.
Drew Haley, near side, looking middle. Tough catch in traffic there for Ben Abladian. Far side back to Sean Cameron. BG trailing at 1-0, 3.5 gone. Cardinals trying to get on the board. Cameron near side, again hounded by the long pole. Pass middle, gets through. Albadian knocked down on the shot. It's saved in net, and now a whistle does come.
Yeah, the Sam Prunier, he got pushed in the back there. He is so good at getting that inside position. You'll see him and Abladian all night going in and out to the crease as Brian Cameron gets the ball at X, because they are so good off ball, they'll catch and finish in there. So
the first flag of the game is going to go against the Bulldogs. Aganost is a member of the football team, and he's also a boxer, down on his left knee in the box. So extra man opportunity for the Cardinals. A good chance to try and tie this one at 1. They trail at 1-0.
This is the most potent man-up team in the state right now. They've got 6 guys that are all going to be playing high-level lacrosse college. So they can handle, they can move it. It's like a dream for the assistant coach, Cody Marquis, to have guys like this.
Quick shot. Ball ready for it. It sails over his head out of bounds. Sean Cameron the closest to it. And again, it'll stay with the Cardinals.
Normally you give Drew Haley that kind of shot from 7 yards out. It's in the back of the net.
Brian Cameron back to Sean. Near side, tough angle shot. Knocked away by Ball. And the ball ricochets out of bounds near corner.
Sean got his own. That's pretty impressive.
Yep, good hustle there by the sophomore. It was a verbal commit to Maryland. Behind the cage again, Brian Cameron trying to direct some traffic. They'll move it around, top of the box, near side, stepping into a shot and a score.
Brennan McGinnis.
It's McGinnis. Comes from a lacrosse family, and he lit it up there to tie the game at 1.
I was just talking to his brother beforehand. It's such an exciting night for these guys because it's senior night. His brother's a BG alum. He was here to walk out there as well. It's kind of a cool scenario, and I've known the family for quite a while, a Bedford family, so that's why it kind of makes it even extra special for him.
And we talked off air, there's a number of Bedford residents on this BG roster, which just adds to the rivalry flavor.
Exactly. But what the great part is, at the end of the game, you'll see a bunch of guys hugging each other, and a lot of these guys work out together in the summertime in Bedford. They have, they'll set up things where they can actually work out together, and they're sending a lot of guys to play lacrosse at the highest level. So
Romanek wins the face-off for the Cardinals, and now BG looking for their first lead here as we come up on 5 minutes gone by in this opening period. It's 1-1.
That's three in a row now for Romanek. Some of them are a little bit sloppy, but the reality is the possession's getting into the hands of the Cardinals.
Cameron trying to work on Aganos behind the far pole. Going to drop back deep. Slips, retains possession, gets back up, trying to find some space. Aganos riding him hard far side. Picked up on the switch, we'll bring it back up top. Swung now near side. See Coach Gerard, who just had a baby boy last week, down on his knees, or hands on his knees, I should say, trying to coach up this Bulldog defense.
Well, he's doing the right thing there with Brian. As he comes to GLE, they have a second guy coming.
Cameron, quick shot there, stopped by ball, and now recovered by Bedford. Trying to break out of the pack.
Cardinals get it back. That's
I think it was Twit who had it initially and then turned it over.
Yeah, that's Nathan Bennett. He's going to come off here, but he's very, very fast right-hander.
Yep. Bennett with the strip. That'll ensure BG possession. Again, the attack trying to settle in right to left as we approach the midway point of this first quarter. Still tied at 1. On the move, near side now comes Prunier. Gives way to Sean Cameron. Stutter step, fakes left, goes middle. Top of the box, trying to line one up. He's going to whip one wide. And again, Brian Cameron able to save the possession behind the cage.
They're giving it to the Bedford Bulldogs.
Yep, the officials are going to change their minds here. So the Bedford defense holds, and now the Bulldogs will look to clear with the game tied at 1 midway through this first quarter.
You can see BG's into a drop ride to try to make them go through as many as possible, and Bedford doesn't seem to be having a problem with it.
Yeah, Cusick across midfield. Far sideline now set to reset on the attack. Near side Toscano with room on the wing. Makes a man miss, steps into a shot, paid the price. Shot goes wide and short. Toscano knocked down, lost a glove. Taken away in net there by...
And now we've got some action behind the net.
Near side, taking a bump and now drawing a whistle.
Yeah, they took too long to get it clear the zone.
It was BG's Ryan Flynn who hangs his head. Bulldogs clap their hands on the sideline. They'll get it back. Game still tied at 1. We head towards 5 minutes first quarter.
I like to see the officials allowing them to play a little bit out there. That's great.
Yeah, it took kind of a physical tone in that first
minute.
minute.
It's very good.
Coach Cameron, hands behind his back, watching from the BG sidelines. Bedford looking to retake the lead.
Keep your eyes on Cusack on the inside there. He was an attackman last year, so he knows what to do in there.
Up top, it's LaFrance. Tries to draw near side. Does have the double. Going to swing it out now to the far wing. Up
and this
top,
is a matchup they like.
Toscano to his right. Runs, fires one way high. Out of bounds. It'll stay with Bedford.
The one thing is a smart play by Coach Cameron. He's got Brennan McGinnis on. If you're going to have a shorty out there, that's the guy, because he's a true two-way midfielder that can play defense as well as anybody else.
There's Fink, along with Clark. Fink far side, trying to find some room, but being hounded there by Doug Baker. Going to force a pass back out to the top. Toscano lost it. And then hopped out of his stick, turned over to BG.
This is where Brennan McGinnis is very dangerous.
McGinnis right to left, picked up by Aganos, whips a pass across the zone for Brian Cameron. Looks middle, that pass knocked down, recovered far side by McGinnis, trying to shake off Aganos, who lost his footing.
That's a couple of times he's fell down now. I'm wondering what's going on with the turf out there with his footing.
Sean Cameron near side, just lightning quick, going to pull it back out though.
Yeah, he's slippery, there's no doubt. I watched him cross up a Pinkerton player, and the player fell down on just a simple split dodge, but nothing
off
simple
the double
about
team, a running shot. That goes wide there for BG's Cam Fagan. But the senior shot out of bounds far corner. Brian Cameron the closest to it. Cardinals will keep it as we move inside of 4 minutes first quarter. Game still tied at 1. Bedford struck first, and then the Cardinals answered on the EMO. Near side, Cameron, little stutter, brings his man middle, comes back left, shoots wide right. Ball goes out of bounds far side, and again will stay with BG.
Yeah, I think they could do better than that shot, especially with the personnel they have out there right now. Now watch how early the Bedford defense comes to number 7 as he comes around GLE. It's a smart play. The ball has to be popped and moved quickly, and then you're going to get some backside action. There's enough talent there to do that, but you'll see here.
Number 7, of course, Brian Cameron, perhaps the most talented player on the field. He's behind the cage here, trying to weave away from Aganos, but To Dimitri's credit, he's holding his own right now. Aganos physical, trying to bump out Cameron to the far side. Now goal line extended. He'll go to his teammate behind the cage, near side. That's Abladian. His shot there goes
another
low.
big save here by Bull.
And Bull was ready as the netminder comes up with a between the ankles save. The outlet pass, though, is mishandled along the near side and turned over at midfield. Back over to Bishop Guertin.
That always gets squirrely when you're coming in and out of the box. You don't exactly know who's right around you, and I think Devin got caught up in that.
Custos, right side for BG. Right to left they work. Game tied at 1 here as we move to 3 minutes first quarter. And now Brian Cameron settling in again, the one-on-one matchup with Aganost. Behind the cage, back to the cage, near side pole, double team comes. Bounce pass is mishandled at the top and turned over. Here come the Bulldogs left to right, taking it off the bounce there. I believe that's Flynn. And Flynn going to slow it down.
That's Cusack that had the ball.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was Cusack, yep.
Like I said, I'm surprised he's got a shorty that he's not willing to dodge or at least invert or something like that, because all last year he was attack. So he's used to going against long poles. Looks like they're putting someone in there.
Yeah, Cusack just checked out.
Oh, that's Johnny Giroux. Johnny Giroux's a good player as well. He can play.
Quick shot on the far side. That's knocked down by Drew Haley of BG. And it's Haley who's able to recover along the far sideline. Long outlet pass. Taken there by Nate Bennett. 1-1 here. 2 minutes to go first quarter. Sun setting here in Nashua. And a good crowd here at Stello Stadium. BG going to settle in here right to left. McGinnis in no hurry. Top of the box, given room.
Well, he's in no hurry. He's got Eric Flynn on him there.
Yep.
He's played long enough with him to know that kid can take it away.
Flynn giving him a little room. Now it's Cameron near side trying to work on Flynn. Draws a double team. Little scoop pass. Taken up top by Haley. Haley near side. He draws the double. Pass up top. Sean Cameron whips it far side. Minute and a half to go. McGinnis has the step. Quick shot low. Bull may have gotten a piece of it. Either way, wide out of bounds behind the cage. Still BG possession. Minute 25 to go.
There's going to have to be some adjustments here by BG, because you can see how early and quickly Bedford is coming on the slide. And so you got to move that thing. When you do, you got to go right away, though.
Brian to Sean Cameron, and then his pass wide for McGinnis, turned over to the far sideline. So again, that Bulldog pressure perhaps forcing some early mistakes here from the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's not a zone defense, but it's acting like it. So if you take a look, they have 2 guys posted up on each side of the goal on goal line extended, and they're ready to go. So it's just early.
Bedford left to right. They led briefly early on, 1-0. Trying to retake the lead before the end of the quarter.
This is exactly what the Bulldogs wanted, though. Now they've got a possession here at the end of the quarter to take the lead. Keep the ball out of that BG offense and go when it's right.
LaFrance still with it, fakes a pass, and now going to trot to the far side wing. Joe Lupo, the defender, going to close in on him. LaFrance spins away, draws a second defender, leaves it back up top. Cusick spins right, whips a shot, and a beautiful save in net there for BG.
And that's Hype Miller. That clear was perfect.
Hype Miller a little long, and then a big hit as Aganos lays out one of the BG players.
That was Lupo. And
yeah.
honestly, he knows better than that. I mean, that was a play that he probably should have gone after the ball instead of the player. But, it's a big hit. The crowd likes that. But
I think Lupo liked it, too. Even though he paid the price, he popped up and looks like he's getting his props on the sideline because it drew a penalty.
Well, sometimes those hits are the ones that don't hurt, right? You're not actually attached to the ground. You get decleated, it doesn't hurt as much. But now you're going to see BG's uppers out there. And I don't know if they'll hold it here to the end of the quarter so they can start the second with the ball. But who knows? They might go right for the net.
Coach Gerard having a word with Aganost, who is in the penalty box for the second time in this first period.
Yeah, in 1992, that was a great play in Lacrosse.
I think it was 05 as well.
Probably. And there you go.
Quick shot and a score, and that's all BG needs. They get the ball with 12 seconds. They score with 7 to go in this first quarter.
That was Drew Haley with a big overhand fake pass. Bedford bid on it, and he makes him pay with a top corner shot.
Yep.
And like I was saying, normally when he's from that spot, that's in the back of the net. He missed one earlier. Not going to happen twice.
Haley with that flowing blonde hair coming out the back of the helmet.
Had to put him on 603 lax as flow of the week.
Might be flow of the year.
Hey, well, listen, there's going to be an argument for it for sure.
7 seconds.
You get above the Lakes region, there's a lot of flow up there, though.
Romanek wins it, keeps it himself for BG. Clock ticking down to 3. Romanek far side is not going to get this off. But the Cardinals are okay with it. Bedford struck first.
Well, I believe that's a locked-in penalty. That's why.
Yep. So BG will have an extra man when the second period begins in just a moment. But the Cardinals able to respond after falling down early. And after 12 minutes here at Stello Stadium, the undefeated Bishop Guertin Cardinals lead Bedford 2-1.
Yeah, and I think that that's a lot closer than people suspected early on. But this is exactly what Bedford wanted. They came out and proved that we can punch you in the mouth and we can run with you. So that's very good.
Nick Anastas, Russ Moyer with you here on FNLNH.com. It's our Friday Night Lights game of the week. We remind you, Sunday mornings, 9 to 11. Tune in for FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks, a 2-hour show, 9 to 11 Eastern, where we talk a little bit about everything. NHIAA, the NCAA tournament, and much more. Boys and girls as well. So that's 9 to 11 every Sunday. Start your morning off right at FNLNH.com.
Yeah, we actually had these two teams, both of their girls' teams faced off earlier in the week. Well, it might have been Saturday, and Bedford won by a goal.
That's right.
Yeah, they're big rivals on both sides. But they're likely going to run into each other again in the playoffs, so it should be...
seems inevitable.
Yeah. And again, that's the same situation. There's a lot of people on both sides of that know each other and play together in the summer or are from Bedford. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Well, second quarter about to begin here in Nashua. Sun setting, and the shadows growing long now, stretching towards the near side of the field. Most of the folks in the stands and us up here in the press box still in the sun for the moment.
Absolutely.
But that's okay.
Now Romanek did what he was supposed to do on that faceoff. He won it to himself, ran and touched it into the box, and that gives BG a possession on the man up to start. So that's why they went early. Remember I was saying, hey, maybe they'll hold it, but I didn't realize it was locked in. They went right away, scored, and they got the ball back, and now they get it as well. So they could pay the price here a couple times.
Trying to get their 2-goal lead, their first multi-goal lead of the game as the team switch ends. BG working left to right with the extra man opportunity. Up top, far side, Cameron across the net, near side, and it's stopped again by Bowl along the near pole. He's able to scoop it in traffic, keep it in the crease, and secure the stop for Bedford.
And that was a shot that they likely could have done better as well. As you saw, they were fading beyond GLE, and good job by Luke Bowl to get from pipe to pipe there and hold that.
Bedford going to bring it across midfield.
A little turnover there. It's going to go back.
Turn it over. Yep, pass a little too strong. Intended in the middle there for LaFrance, but taken away there by the Cardinals' Fisher. So now BG going to take their time, and they have a problem. Yep. A long pass along the far sideline, out of the grasp there of McGinnis. Turn back over to the Bulldogs. Bedford trailing 2-1 with a minute gone here, second quarter. Again, we welcome those of you watching at home on BCTV, Bedford Community Television. And again, listening on FNLNH.com.
Heitmiller way out of the cage here. He's come up with it.
And he slips far sideline. Trying to fight off two Bulldogs. Now a whistle comes.
Don't know what that call is going to be. Oh,
perhaps a timeout?
Timeout for BG, it appears.
So Coach Cameron from the sideline trying to perhaps bail out his young goaltender.
Probably a pretty smart play. There was 3 people over there. He came up with it, fell down. I'm so used to NCAA rules that you can't make that call until you're over the midfield. So I'm like, who's making that call? I was afraid it might have been Gerard. But that's actually a very smart call. What you want to do with your timeouts is utilize them to save possessions and utilize them when there's momentum switches.
Yeah.
And in that case, you just save the possession. And, when you're looking at a 2-to-1 game here, was it 2-to-1?
Yep.
Yeah, 2-to-1 game. He's going to get the ball back here and have a chance to do something.
Seems like Coach Cameron has a knack for that, right? I've heard that before. The art of the timeout, so to speak, is something that he does very well.
Well, it's funny because Coach Gerard, Coach Cameron, Coach Cody Marquis that's on the sideline over here, myself and a couple of other guys all coach together in the summer. And afterward, when we go out and have dinner, we critique each other's timeout utilization.
Oof.
So we'll say, you should have used one there, or you should have used one here. And
that's got to be a tough crowd.
Yeah, there's not much you can do as a summer coach, right, in terms of when the game is ongoing. But when you do have timeouts and you misuse them, be ready to be razzed all night.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's pretty good though. They both of these coaches know how to utilize their timeouts properly, and rarely will they leave with one in their pocket. So they use them at the right times.
Well, this is going to save a BG possession there with their goaltender clearly out of position. And now they'll have to face the full ride here from the Bulldogs. It is 2-1 in favor of Bishop Guertin. The Cardinals, of course, trying to stay undefeated. Bedford trying to elbow their position, so to speak, in the upcoming Division I tournament.
And this is a unique ride. They've got one way down in Gannon Lowry, and then see they just gave up an easy clear. It's a very odd setup that they had there.
It comes via the far sideline, left to right. And now on attack, the Cardinals will go to work. It's Sean Cameron, top of the box, going to step fire, and that one rings the bell off the top pipe. Loose ball, ground ball, far side wing, still loose, and it's a long pole for Bedford, who had it momentarily.
That was Kirkpatrick. He came over there, and now he's out of position, but looks like BG's going to settle it. Now they've got 2 poles on that.
Yeah,
that was a good play by Kirkpatrick there.
Taken away, though, by Prunier, and Prunier back on the attack. Looks for Sean Cameron. Backdoor to Prunier, and he scores just in front of the crease there. Knocked to the ground, didn't matter.
And that is such a Sam Prunier goal. I love it. I mean, he gets in there, he catches everything that's around him, and he pops it in where the goalie's not.
The senior, now with, I believe, his second goal, right? He scored the first one?
May have, yeah. I don't recall who had that first one. I know Brian hit the pipe there, and then Sean hit another one.
Yep.
And then now Sam popped a couple in. So they, you know, when you're looking at these two teams, there's just so much talent on both sides. You can't give them an inch, but you're going to see some highlight plays tonight on both sides of the ball.
So the Cardinals, after falling down 1-0 in the game's opening minutes, have scored 3 unanswered and lead here 3-1. As we come up on 2 minutes gone by in this second quarter, and now another big face-off on the way, and that's an area the Cardinals have had success here so far.
Yeah, we haven't seen any clean pinch and pops by Luke Romanek, but what we have seen is BG winning every faceoff. So that's not, you can't give teams like Bishop Guertin, you know, make it, take it type of situation. So hopefully we're going to see an answer here from the Bulldogs where they can actually stop. I would at this point, I would debate putting Eric Flynn down there, Brian Barlotta on the wing, and putting a short stick down somewhere on cover and attack.
Romanek wins it again, and now BG left to right looking to tack it on. Brian Cameron draws a double team near side. Finds his brother Sean. Sean back steps up top, now on the move. Near side for Brian. And they'll swing it again behind the cage to
That's Ben Abladian back there, and he is quick. I mean,
Abladian, excuse me.
Ben Abladian can draw a slide from anybody. A lot of times he tries to go through that double, but when he does, he can move it quick and create offense.
BG going to spread it out. Sean Cameron. Near side, looks for the step, off balance shot, knocked down, and saved by Bull.
That is a nice play by Colton Krasinski to catch that ball off the save and give it back to the goalie.
At midfield on the clear, and chopped away there and taken away.
Brennan McGinnis right there in the open field doing what he does.
Haley got a stick on it as well, and now McGinnis going to slow things down along the far side wing. BG with a 3-1 lead, 3 minutes
threw it away.
Yep, pass too strong near side, sails out of bounds behind the Guertin bench, and turned over again to Bedford.
And so they've got Kyle Fisher out here riding lower than normal, but now he's going to be taking this midfield that's coming up and over.
Kusick, long pass near sideline, and that's intercepted by Barker.
This is likely going to be a fast break goal.
Fisher across, and then
big save by Bull
at the doorstep.
That is a huge save right there. That keeps him right in this early. Nice save. Bull's been playing great.
He robbed Abladian. It'll stay, though, with the Cardinals as Brian Cameron will get there, and another polar. Yep. His third time he's rung the bell. This time from the far side wing. It's recovered on the near side, though, by his Cardinals teammate Cameron Fagan, and BG again will settle up.
I have to tell you, that gets frustrating. You hit the pipe that many times, and you just got to keep shooting through that because you're obviously dialed in. You know, it's 1/2 inch off, you know.
All right. Alex Koutsos. Near side, a little off balance, draws the double. Pass goes behind the cage. Abladian to the far side pole. Steps up off 1 foot, shot there wide. Again, Cameron the closest to it.
What I will say is the Bedford defensive middies, and they've got a number of them out there that they've been rotating through, have been playing very well. They're getting the jams at the right spots.
3-1 Cardinals. BG looking for another here left to right. Quick shot, quick score. It comes on the assist from Brian Cameron. And along the near side wing waiting was Fagan for his first goal of the game. 4 unanswered by BG, a 4-1 lead for the Cardinals as we approach 5 minutes gone by second quarter.
And that's what's going to have to happen. I mean, if they're going to come early to your attack as they dodge, you have to move the ball, and your middies have to be ready to step down. Cam Fagan has one of the hardest shots on the team, and he can let it go. Now, that was a beautiful bouncer, so you didn't see the velocity on that, but he can bring the juice for sure.
He's getting some congratulations on the sideline, couple slaps on the shoulder.
That was an old-school Russ Moyer bounce shot right there, just saying.
You styled it, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Father the style. Romanek, another win in the face-off circle, and now BG again left to right going to settle in as they start to really dominate the time of possession here in this first half.
And that becomes very frustrating and taxing on your defense if you can't get the ball off the draw circle.
Brian Cameron. Goal line extended. He's got a man in front. That's McGinnis.
Smart play by McGinnis to not.
Pass goes up top, and there's the score from the top of the box. It's Drew Haley who was ready and waiting. And this BG attack starting to get lubed up. It's 5-1 here with 4.5 gone second quarter.
Gerard maybe needs to call a timeout if something happens quickly here because you want to make sure the team is ready to respond. I will say that was a play there by Brennan McGinnis where he had 5 or 6 fakes in front that just Luke Bowl was on, and he pulled it out. 95% of players still throw that shot into the goalie stick. That was a great play, and it opened up top.
Unselfish and smart. Coach Cameron still watching with his hands clasped behind his back. I don't think he's moved since the start of the game. Watching his team build up this lead here. 5 unanswered goals, and now off the face-off there's a whistle. And a violation, it looks like, against the Bulldogs. Cardinals will take it. Zach Keenan, far side.
You have to hope these coaches put on their suntan oil today because the sun is right in their face.
Right. I imagine right in their eyes down there.
Oh. Coach Cameron's not one of those guys that sits out on the beach all summer either.
No. No, he's a busy guy. Quick shot and a score. It's the Cameron brothers. Brian from behind the cage along the near side is Sean, who lights the lamp top shelf, and the Cardinals with some breathing room here, 6-1 as we approach the midway point second quarter.
And they're sending Flynn out as the LSM. I don't know if he's going to be taking the draw or not. It appears he's going to start taking the draw for him. So what you might find here is that at the very least, he can gum it up. Now, the weird thing is that Bedford wings are not touching. Oh, he's moving down now. I was going to say, you almost need to be touching your wing player because otherwise it's too easy for the face-off man to throw it back. Essentially what Bedford's looking for here, Eric Flynn is not going to be trying to clamp the ball and get it away from Luke Romanek. He's essentially going to let him clamp it and then strip him of the ball.
Okay.
But right now, Luke could actually just clamp it and throw it behind, and they're going to have a free one. So whoever the, and I can't see his number, but whoever the defensive midfielder that's over there needs to get close to his guy.
Let's see if
and
Romanek,
see, he just threw it back. I mean,
he's going to go backwards, and right on schedule, it's picked up by the Cardinals' Joe Lupo.
Yeah, so if they don't push out to the wings, that's all that's going to happen there, and you're going to have possession after possession. So, you know, Flynn is essentially hoping that Romanek has to pick it up, and then he goes and gets it.
Cardinals with a 6-1 lead coming up at the midway point, second quarter. BG left to right. Trying to make it 7 unanswered here on this trip. Brian Cameron near side. Dimitri Aganos double team. Quick shot, quick score.
And that's Fagan again. So it looks like BG made that adjustment at the end of the second quarter that when that slide comes early, Brian takes one step away, throws the ball up and over to one of the middies, and they've got guys that can do that. Right.
Yeah, he's now had 3 straight assists on their last 3 goals.
Right, and that's just strictly an adjustment that they made on the defensive, on the offensive side to what the defense is doing.
Bedford in a little bit of trouble here. 7-1 is the BG lead here.
I believe Flynn just told. Oh no, they're still staying wide. Okay, sliding over now. I think Flynn essentially just said you need to be able to lock your guy off.
That's his teammate Parker Roberto over there.
Let me go do some work here. So we'll see how this goes. Flynn is a takeaway artist, and we'll see what Romanek can do once he gets it.
Romanek's been pretty dominant. The freshman, it looks like, is going to win another. He wrestles it away from Flynn, back steps to midfield.
But they have the matchup that they were looking for there. Now, you see now, so Bedford now gummed it up.
Yep. And now Fisher can't hang on to the pass. It is loose, top of the box. We've got 8 bodies in the scrum, and it looks like the Cardinals are going to wrestle it away. Out of the pack comes Sam Prunier.
That actually probably should have been a Bedford ball. They had it in their stick and didn't come away with it there. But you know what? At the very least, they made them work for it.
Rooney are going to regroup behind the cage, and now it's swung out on top again. Near side wing for Fagan, who has scored twice here in the second quarter. We're past the midway point, heading towards 5 minutes first half. 7-1 Cardinals. Brian Cameron trying to shake off Agonos. Quick shot and a score from a tough angle.
I have
Goal
to tell
line
you,
extended far side, went low somehow to score his first.
every time I see that shot, and I've seen it quite a bit, and we've seen it across the state a lot, I always go, oh, why'd you take that? And then, you realize that he's got 6-foot arms that are 4 feet above GLE when he lets that go. If I shoot that shot, it goes into the side of the net, and it's a turnover going the other way. So these guys, I mean, they know where they're at, and they've been playing on this turf for so long that they know exactly how to turn that ball over.
8 unanswered goals by the Cardinals. Bedford struck first in the opening minutes, but since then it's really been all BG, and this freshman here, Romanek, a big part of it in the face-off circle, and he's going to win another one. Keeps it himself, drops it back to the defender. That's Fisher. And now Heitmiller in the goal is going to trot out beyond the crease.
And I don't want to be too critical there, but the attack from Bedford ran up the field. Right, they had the matchup they wanted with Flynn on Romanek. And so they have that. Then you need to lock off those defenders as well. That way
Heitmiller goes across midfield, and Coach Cameron is going to use his second timeout from the BG sideline.
Yep.
Comes with just under 5 minutes to go in this second quarter. Again, the Cardinals are in control 8-1. Nick Anastas, Russ Moyer of 603 Lax. BCTV on hand as well. We welcome those of you watching online and at home.
Yeah, I heard this link was being sent down to Tennessee. I believe it was Tennessee for Colton Krasinski's relatives to watch the game.
Nice. Yep, worldwide.
That's it.
At this point, 2018. A reminder, you can hear the complete recap and frankly get it from some inside sources. Coach Cameron, one of our co-hosts Sunday mornings on FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks, 9 to 11 on FNLNH.com. Coach will be back in studio. Russ, you going to be there Sunday?
I don't know if I can. This time of year is tough. We're having all these makeup games and whatnot. But this is the week I'd like to get in. There's been so many big games.
Right.
I mean, talking about last week we were talking about Salem. We had the head coach on, 2 weeks ago, and then yesterday Bedford went down there and beat them 15-2. And so we're seeing a lot of things shake out that's going to really impact the playoffs.
Right.
One thing that happened this week, and not New Hampshire related, was Duxbury went down. They were the number 2 team in Massachusetts, and they beat the number 1 team in Hingham. In a week, Duxbury comes up here and plays the number 1 team in New Hampshire as long as everything holds serve.
Which is BG.
At Stellos Field, we're going to see BG versus Duxbury, and that's going to mean something on the national stage. So it'd be very, very interesting to see how this all shakes out. But I believe that's the first time Duxbury's ever come up to the woods.
Well, it'll be a big game, and Coach Cameron likes those challenges, those out-of-state challengers. Has always scheduled them heavy, and this year no exception. The difference this year is that the Cardinals are undefeated, and Coach Cameron has never had an undefeated team. He's had, of course, a lot of jewelry in that ring case, but nobody's been unbeaten. That may change this year. This club has a real shot of perhaps running the table. Here's a quick shot out of the timeout. Again, it goes off the post and out of play behind the cage. It'll stay with the Cardinals, as Abladian was the first to it.
And now we're looking at a real zone defense from Bedford. So they're mixing it up, and you're hearing them ring the pipes a little bit because they're taking step-down shots from outside. So essentially what Coach Girard is saying is, we're going to give up that outside shot, Luke's going to make the save, and we're going to get possessions back.
Almost a pick your poison type of thing, right?
Yeah, that's true, but once you started seeing them doing that step-down, you had to make some sort of an adjustment, and it looks like you did.
Right. Inside of 5 minutes until halftime. Cardinals looking to increase an 8-1 lead. Brian Cameron behind the net. Far side, they'll rotate. Near side wing. Sean Cameron with a look. And now Abladian's pass is tipped and taken away.
There you go.
Good effort there. The lead by Kusek. Now the outlet by Bowl is taken at midfield, and here come the Bulldogs. Flynn is going to slow things down here along the near sideline. Going to have to avoid a double team. Sprints behind the cage to the far side. Being chased by the Cardinals' Ryan Flynn. And now back up top.
And Bedford's getting double teamed and their man down. They're waiting for that person to get out of the box, although we might have a shot here.
Fink near side, but not quite ready. Heitmiller along the near pole makes a stop. Yep. Able to deny Clark, and now the outlet is taken by the Cardinals.
And now we're all even.
Lupo across the box, and nobody home on the other side. Another BG turnover as McGinnis was not quite ready. So the Bulldogs catch a break. We move inside of 4 minutes to go until halftime. Bulldogs trying to narrow the gap, trailing 8-1.
And that's a few times we're starting to see that on both sides. Clearing doesn't seem to be that clean tonight, and then you're seeing a lot of unforced errors. When we're mid-season, we're almost at the playoffs. Those things have to go away.
Right. Been a physical first half, for sure.
And now you've got a nice matchup here. Toscano versus Lupo.
Toscano with a size advantage. Lowers that left shoulder far side. Passes behind the cage for Clark. Clark looking for a screen. Draws a double team. Goes up top. And thinking about the shot. Pulling it back there was LaFrance, one of the captains. 3 minutes to go. Pass middle. Behind the target. Taken away. Good defensive effort there by Flynn on the anticipation.
And he threw another one away.
And, yep, too strong on the outlet pass. Turned over along the far sidelines at midfield. Again, over the head of McGinnis. Back to the Bulldogs.
Thing is, can the Bulldogs make them pay? That's a couple of turnovers in a row.
Well, the possessions have been few and far between in the second quarter.
Timeout probably
for Bedford, and now Coach Gerard wants to make sure his guys are on the same page. The timeout comes with 2:44 to go in the second quarter. Bedford trying to break up this BG run. The Cardinals have scored 8 unanswered and lead it 8-1.
I think that's a good timeout, right? So you've got 2 minutes, 44 seconds left in the half. At the very least, you want to get a goal here. You want to have a nice offensive possession and pop it in the net. So if they can do that, that'll certainly be well worth it, that timeout. And again, what's he going to do with it unless they score anyway? So you have to get it in there.
Well, you mentioned a lot of big games this week in and around New England, not necessarily just the NHIAA, but let's focus again on the boys' picture in Division I. Atop the mountain, so to speak, of course, is Bishop Guertin, undefeated. Pinkerton right behind them, last year's runner-up.
And we had Pinkerton go out of state to play Long Meadow, which is always a great game. Two great clubs.
And that's an old rivalry.
It is, and they lost. They lost 12-11, and that was that might actually make that final game of the year with Exeter and Pinkerton a big one. So we'll see.
Well, I was about to mention the Blue Hawks, who seemingly have gotten a little bit better every year, and now are really on the cusp, perhaps, of becoming a contender.
They've got a couple of injuries that are key, but they are certainly one of the top 4 teams for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're seeing right now. Is we're seeing 4 teams probably that are head and shoulders everybody else. Then you've got, and Londonderry's up in the mix as well. So the boys D1 picture is pretty good.
Bedford with possession, working right to left, out of the timeout as we work the clock down to 2.5 minutes to go, second quarter. On the far side, a quick shot, a sneaky shot.
Yeah, that's a nice goal.
It's going to go over the left shoulder of Heitmiller for the score.
And that's Gannon Lowry. Like I was saying to you, he's actually pretty sneaky in there. He can move around. He can create space. He's got phenomenal stick skills.
I almost missed the shot. It was that quick.
Well, what he did is he put his shoulder into the defender, right into his chest. The defender moved back about 6 inches. He rolled, popped it in the near pipe.
Now that sounds like a Russ Moyer move. No?
I wish I was as skilled as Gannon. No, I think I was probably a D-midi nowadays, the way my game looks. But these kids, all of their stick skills are so good. And if you're playing on either one of these teams and you're playing at good minutes, you can play lacrosse, that's for sure.
Bedford needed that one, and they get it. That breaks up a streak of 8 unanswered goals by Bishop Guertin.
And now you're seeing 2 long poles up at the face-off X. That's Barlotta and Flynn up there now.
Romanek has been borderline unstoppable for Bishop Guertin, and the freshman's going to win another one. Pass, however, is dropped.
And now Flynn's got it. So that's a win for Bedford.
Yep. Kyle Flynn, or not Flynn, rather, but Fisher,
And the thing about it
Drop
is they may not count that as a win for Bedford in terms of the face-off because Romanek had possession of it. But the reality is it never got touched in the box.
Right.
So, and that's another great timeout by Coach Gerard. So now with 2 minutes remaining, he's going to have another chance to set something up.
It is 8-2 BG. Bedford trying to close the gap, and Russ, I'd imagine that'd be big for the self-confidence of the Bulldogs if they can maybe make this an 8-3, maybe even 8-4 difference at halftime versus 8-2.
Yeah, that would actually be a huge deal. And I wonder if what he saw last time where he attacked from X with Gannon, if he's going to do that again. Dawson Clark, the freshman, is very good inside. So if they could get their middies up high, ready to step down and put Clark in the middle, then you have either Fink or Lowry dodge their man. And now you've got a one-on-one matchup. They're not going to slide earlier, those guys. So we'll see. I'll be interested to see what he draws up here.
Both teams have used 2 timeouts in this first half, and therefore are out of timeouts until we get to the third quarter.
Well, I certainly didn't think that the Bulldogs would go to sleep, that's for sure. They're ready to play lacrosse, and they'll be back.
Coming up at halftime, we'll recap the action, preview the second half as well, and take a look at some of the upcoming matchups across the NHIAA as well. Again, just over 2 minutes to go until the break. 8-2 is the BG lead. It's Bedford ball. And the Bulldog attack here working right to left. Clark off the screen. Pass high over the head of Toscano along the left wing. A whistle sounds.
I'm not sure what they called there, but it's on BG. So the Bulldogs are going to have a man up here. First time I think we're seeing their man up unit tonight.
Yeah, there was a hit there on that pass. I'm not sure.
It's a 1 minute penalty.
Yep.
I couldn't hear the official Bensky.
It's against Ryan Flynn, who doesn't look happy as he drops to his right knee in the BG box. Minute 50 to go. Second quarter. Again, Bedford with possession. Fink up top. Far side for Clark. Behind the cage, Kusick
there.
One time, Toscano steps in with a rip. It's too strong.
That was a nice overhanded shot. I think that might have been tipped because that thing was went pretty high, but I think it went off the stick of Joe Lupo, the short stick that's in there on man down.
Kusick will keep it at this end and restart play.
Fink was open if they went one more, and he's going to take it.
There's Fink, shot and a score. It comes from the right wing. Fink given a little bit of room there, step in and release the blast. Bedford back-to-back goals, and they're within shouting distance here. BG still up 8-3 now with a minute 27 to go second quarter.
I got to tell you, I like when Kyle comes from up top there like that. Now, they have him playing attack here. I think he's probably going to play attack at Skidmore in college. But, man, I would invert him all day. I mean, he looks great coming from up there.
Yeah.
And if you can get him on a shorty, he's got some quicks.
Fink having a word with his teammate Dawson Clark as the two get set to watch the face-off here. Romanek, who has had success for BG throughout this first half, going to go against Flynn here. Scurries near side and secures the possession. His Cardinals teammate Kyle Fisher able to scoop it up. Fisher going to drop it back for Aiden Wilkie, sophomore midfielder who crosses midfield. And now it looks like BG set to settle in as we approach a minute to go in this second quarter.
And they have Brennan McGinnis on Colton Krasinski. No, is that Colton? I believe that is.
McGinnis up top, Sean Cameron. Cameron given a little bit of room, goes right around the defender, fakes the shot, keeps it, now whips it low and scores. Boy, a pretty move there by the sophomore Sean Cameron, able to show the quickness, scores for the second time, and beats Bowl low on that one to make it 9-3 BG.
You couldn't have put it in a better spot, and I know a lot of times when Sean's running to that direction, he likes to elevate, go sidearm, shoot top corner. I think Bowl was waiting for it there, and then instead he changes and hits the just inside the pipe there. That was a really nice shot.
Verbal commit to the University of Maryland.
And he, if he can get his hands away, he can dial it up for sure. He can elevate that thing into the 90s. I
50 seconds.
feel for these goalies.
Another face-off. BG has had the advantage for sure as Romanek gets rid of it here along the near sideline. Haley going to drop it back, and now with a breath is Peyton Fisher. Peyton going to slow to a walk.
They have Burnett in there as well, the right-hander, and he's got a shorty on him.
30 seconds, first half.
I think they're going to attack from behind here.
Ryan Cameron trying to muscle his way towards the near pole. Shoots wide. Handled, though, behind the cage by Haley. Haley makes a move, gets tripped up, lost the ball. Flag flies. And now the whistle sounds with 13 seconds to go. And this one appears to be against the Bulldogs as, well, Haley flatly went flying there for a moment.
I didn't see where that ball went there, but if that did that ball go up and over the cage, or was it?
I think it just went straight up in the air.
I think it did as well, so that's still supposed to be a live ball. Unless he said he stepped in the crease, which is what he may have said. I think that's what the Cardinals were conversing about over there.
Coach Cameron looking for an explanation. Coach has not moved from that spot the entire first half. 9-3. And now a perfect opportunity for BG to maybe grab some momentum and an extra goal going into the half. Again, 13 seconds. They're going to have to be quick.
And this, like I said, this man-up unit is deadly. They scored in about 1 second before with Drew Haley, but it looks like now they're going to hold it, kill it.
Now, Agonost was the man guilty of the penalty. BG in no hurry. That penalty will carry over, and we go to halftime with the Cardinals leading the Bulldogs 9-3 after one half of play here in Nashua. It was Bedford who scored first in the game's opening minutes. The Cardinals came roaring back, scoring 8 unanswered goals to at one point hold an 8-1 lead. Bedford late in the second quarter able to respond with back-to-back goals, both coming out of the timeout as well. The Cardinals did tack one on there in the final minutes of the second quarter to push the lead back up to 6. So that's where we are at 9-3 at halftime here at Stello Stadium. All right, here we go. Start of the third quarter.
BG's man up.
Yep. And they've got a 9-3 lead as 12 minutes are put back on the third quarter clock as we get set for the start of the second half. Cardinals again trying to stay undefeated. Bulldogs, after trailing big in that first half, looking to come back and shock the state, so to speak. Cardinals, though, looking to retake that big lead from earlier. They led 8-1. A goal here would reestablish a 7-goal advantage. McGinnis from the near side wing. Sean Cameron back to McGinnis across the zone looking for Haley. Little out of his grasp and turned over there. Tough pass there in traffic.
Tough pass to handle there. You know, he's a left-hander. He probably should have been cutting into that ball a little bit more. Instead, it was as he was moving away from it.
So far,
the look was there. The look was there. I
mean,
they could have got it.
Bulldogs will take it, though. Trying to clear now. Kusick takes a hit from Brian Cameron. Cameron chopping at him along the near sidelines. Double team. Kusick goes middle, and this one is broken up. Ground ball. McGinnis has it for BG. Over the shoulder pass up ahead, Brian Cameron with some room, far side wing. He's going to trot now.
I think he's got Flynn on him.
Slow down. He's got Flynn on him behind the cage. Brings him back to the near pole. He wants a shot himself, and he's going to score. Brian Cameron, too big, too strong there. His second of the night. Puts BG on the board.
And the stuff that you don't see in the score sheet, I mean, that ride that he had earlier made the player turn. I don't exactly know which defender it was, but as he made him make a turn and make a pass, and then BG was able to jump that. I mean, that was under duress, and that's the kind of stuff. If any of our viewers and listeners have watched the Thompsons, they were the kings of riding. And now you're starting to see so much more of heavy, hard riding at the college level because they're trying to get that ball back. And so he did that for the team, and look, it turns into a goal in his pocket. So
meanwhile, Agonost, who has drawn the assignment for Bedford, having an ongoing dialogue with Brian Cameron after that goal. Those two have been at each other since the get-go.
And here we have a BG face-off win.
Yep. A rare, not rare, I should say.
I think that's the
loss for Romanek because Bedford has it.
I think that's the first one I've seen clean to Bedford. Well, good. I mean, if we start seeing that, we'll start to see a game here.
Jonathan Giroux leaves it off for LaFrance. LaFrance tries to get some speed, draws a double, throws it middle. It's broken up. It's loose. Heitmiller behind his own cage in the scrum. And now it's a 6-man pileup, still chopping at it. Fink pushed off the ball there with the left shoulder by Ryan Flynn, and now a whistle does come. The officials let him play there for a moment, but
I think it was hard to see that blue line next to that yellow line.
Yeah, somebody stepped out of bounds for BG, it looks like. So
looks like Flynn picked it up. That was actually a very physical ground ball for Flynn.
Yeah, Flynn got it, but he was out of bounds, so it'll be Bedford ball. Clark behind the cage, Fink.
And you got Barker, Fink here. This is a nice matchup for both sides.
Quick shot, Heitmiller ready along the far pole, and he makes the save up high.
And Fink went with a question mark move off to his offhand against Heitmiller, was still holding pipe. I don't know if that's the best shot he could have got there.
Might have rushed it a little bit. Meanwhile, McGinnis on the other side with Toscano on.
Great save by Luke Bull.
Knocked away by Bull. Recovered, though, far pole by the Cardinals.
That's a really good save. I mean, Brennan McGinnis is looking at 6x6, gets his hands away and rips, and Bull saves it.
Cameron Bryan, a bounce pass up top to his brother Sean. Sean dancing, top of the box, trying to draw off Toscano. Comes near side for Haley. Haley going to stick to the left. Quick shot, wide, out of bounds. It'll stay with the Cardinals.
I have to tell you, I see Toscano playing defense right now. I don't know if I pull him off for a D-midi. The kid can play defense.
Yeah, very quick feet. He's got some big size, too.
That's a nice behind the back.
McGinnis, shot and a score. Went right down the middle after shaking off the defender at the top of the box, and BG has now opened up their largest lead of the game. Nearly 3 minutes in, third quarter, 11-3 Cardinals.
And that's a nifty behind the back by Sean Cameron. That pops it over to Brennan McGinnis, and Brennan McGinnis pulling out his indoor box skills, right in there tight, keeping his hands, popped it right in. That's good luck to the goalie when that kid's sitting there 2 yards out from you.
Second for McGinnis, and the second goal of the third period for BG. Again, the sun refusing to set. It just has been parked above the tree line right in my eyes, frankly.
We will take it.
The whole time. However, the shadows are now encompassing the entire field and is a little more accommodating, I'd imagine, for the players down on the field.
That's 2 in a row for Bedford, and that's Flynn coming in from the wing. So they came back to the shorty, and they getting the ball back. Good for him.
Another rare loss for the freshman Romanek from BG as he trots to the sideline. Yep. Bedford trying to string something together. They trail 11-3. They work left to right.
And LaFrance has the ball. He's another one. He's going to have to go against Lupo here and actually run him. So you got Cusack, and you've got LaFrance, and you've got Toscano out there. I mean, these are your 3 best dodging guys.
See what Cusack can do on the far side. He's going to challenge Lupo. He's going to bring him far. He's going to rise. He's going to fire. That one just over the top of the crossbar, out of bounds near corner. It'll stay with Bedford.
That was a nice lift by Lupo, but I like to see Cusack go there.
Meanwhile, Clark behind the cage looks for a screen. Good switch by the Cardinals defense.
That's such a nice pass by Clark. You just don't hear that kind of stuff. I mean, he's a freshman.
Toscano. Clark, of course, from a Lacrosse family, so to speak.
Oh, definitely. Well, his sister might say that he's from a soccer family.
Yeah, that's a good point. Meanwhile, this pass is wide, intended for Toscano. He scrambles to the near sideline, but it goes out of bounds. And it will belong to the Cardinals. Fisher up ahead. Lupo trying to skip out of a double team, trying to fight for that midfield line, and he'll get there.
When he turns it on, he's got some serious wheels.
Lupo, he's now going to...
Hoping to follow his sister to the Naval Academy. She's a senior at Bishop Guertin on the girls' team.
Now Lupo going to get rid of it and head to the sideline himself. It's now Fagan, who had 2 second quarter goals to his credit, working the top. Bennett hasn't touched it much. He'll go to the far side wing.
He plays more team midi, more transitional midi, Bennett. He's very fast.
Brian Cameron at war here with Aganos. That's been a fun matchup. Tries to find some room near pole, goes wide.
Took that shot a step or two early, but I can't say that because he pops those in.
Right.
That was a one-hander, I think.
If Bull got a piece of that or not. It stays with BG
nice
either
check.
way. Meanwhile, this one turned over. McGinnis had it poke loose. Loose ball, though, collected near side by Albadian. Or Albadian, excuse me.
Yeah, that was a nice check there by Kirkpatrick on Albadian. Oh.
Fisher, score it. That's Peyton Fisher himself as he goes far side with the right hand, and there's handshakes all around from his teammates in white. 5 minutes in third quarter, 12-3 BG.
I have to tell you, if you're a young kid who's sitting at home right now, right? Most of these kids come home, they got the net in the backyard, and they practice their step-down shooting, and everything's top corner, top corner. That shot right there wasn't going 95 miles an hour. But that is a goal against any goalie. That bounce shot was perfect. Practice those, kids. Practice some of that.
Tough to stop. And it works out for the Cardinals as they've added 3 to their halftime lead. Off the face-off.
And that was not.
That was a quick shot.
That was not Luke Romanek.
That was Zach Keenan.
Yeah.
For BG, it'll stay with the Cardinals. They continue to attack right to left.
That was a nice pinch and pop. One of the first ones we've seen tonight.
Pronier near side, being ridden nearly out of bounds along the near sideline in front of that Bulldog bench. Does get it away to McGinnis. And now on the far side, it's Custos. McGinnis near side. Sean Cameron given room on the wing. Trots middle, reverses direction, back near side. Throws it behind the cage for his brother Brian. Brian going to come middle. Checked by the long pole of Aganost. Fakes left, goes to the far pole. Draws a double team. Quick, they whip it over. Wide open shot low, and that one knocked away again by Bull. Pretty good sidearm release there by Custos, but ready was the Bedford senior in the net. BG will keep it, though, as they get to the ground ball. And as we head towards the midway point third quarter, the BG attack in no hurry here. It's Custos, back to Brian Cameron, behind the cage. Looking to shake and bake. Trying to get away from Aganost. Dimitri trying to poke him towards the near sideline. Back to the near wing, Sean Cameron. Oh, pretty move there, frees himself up. Wide, though, on the shot. Weak side, it is scooped up by Bedford.
Kirkpatrick's under duress right now here by the riding attack.
Kirkpatrick trying to keep that ball above his head.
That is really nice riding.
Lost his footing, and then it is turned over. Drew Haley on him like a cheap suit.
They're calling that a push.
Yep. And say Haley pushed him a little bit, so Bedford gets a break there as we head towards 5 minutes to go third quarter. Bulldogs now still have to clear. Aganos going to come near side.
That was a pretty nice ride. You know, that's one of those things when if you're a pole, if you can handle, you can get it out of there. But as it looked like BG was shutting off the goalie, so that pass would have had to come under duress up and over the field. That's a hard pass.
Cusack with a cross midfield. Now Toscano deep on the near wing. Trying to shake off Lupo. Up top, LaFrance. Bouncing shot. Wide left, out of bounds, far corner, and good hustle by the BG defender, Barker, who's the first one there.
And so that Doug Barker, obviously he's tall as heck, but he learned that over the summer. We had a guy who played with us, Andrew Geppert, who got so many of those. So if you know a guy's going down the alley and a guy's giving him the business as he runs down there, you know the shot's probably going to miss. You might as well go back door and get the end line ball.
Yeah,
that's a savvy move right there by the senior.
Inside of 5 minutes, third quarter.
Those kind of possessions, those are a big deal. It looks like Coach Cameron's emptying the bench a little bit here on some of his poles.
Yeah, making a sub here as the attack continues to hog the ball. Meanwhile, pass broken up. Albadian, quick shot, goes off the post. Recovered briefly there by Aganost, who's knocked to the ground. A flag flies, and it looks like it's going to go against.
Cross check on Cameron.
Yep, Brian Cameron, as those two have been very physical towards one another. Fink
what a
up
play.
Ahead, broken up, and that brings the whistle. Good stop there at the top of the crease by Matt Frechette.
Yeah, that's Matt Frechette. He literally, you just watched him run in from the bench, cold. And he makes that play on a fast break to kill it. I thought that was going to be a Bedford goal.
Instead, Frechette draws the whistle. However, Bedford is set to go on the extra man opportunity, I think for the first time in the game.
Now, they had one earlier.
They did have one, okay. Yeah, you're right. But BG has drawn several Bulldog penalties, so let's see if Bedford can capitalize here. They trail at 12-3 with just over 4 minutes to go in this third quarter.
That was a little bit of turnaround as fair play. That was Anagast, right, who just got cross-checked by Cameron. He's had a couple of penalties himself today.
Right.
You know, so...
Yeah, they've been talking.
Yeah,
they've been going after each other. Meanwhile, Clark looks for Fink. Toscano thought about it. Goes near side. LaFrance back middle. Bouncer goes low. Heitmiller got a piece of it. It goes out of bounds backside. It'll stay with Bedford.
You know, I was talking about Bishop Guertin's man-up team, but if you look at the skills on in this Bedford man-up unit, they might be the best. Who knows? I mean, you know, you're looking at the percentages. I'd have to take a gander at that, but they have guys all around that can finish.
Yep.
Well, they just throw it away. Right on cue, they throw it away.
Tough pass from behind the cage. Look to set up Toscano at the top of the box. Instead, it flies out of bounds far side. Now here come the Cardinals right to left.
If you look at the top 6 for Bedford in terms of their scoring ability on the offense, they're as good as anybody out here.
Yep, they have.
Face-offs have been a bit of a bugaboo.
Right, they have not had the opportunities that the Cardinals have had in this one.
Well, that was a big one. Obviously, you want to pop one in there to start a run for yourself.
Meanwhile, Brian Cameron back on the field. Goes behind the cage for Prunier. Far wing now for Eric Poublon, who just came on, the senior. Near side McGinnis, shake and bake, top of the box, nowhere to go. Drops it back towards midfield for Sean Cameron. Cameron back near side for McGinnis. Little two-man game. Closed out well, though, by Bedford. Ready at the top of the box was the defender, Andrew Twite. Behind the cage, Cameron, quick step, shot, and a score. Another nearly impossible angle shot and score there. The senior headed to North Carolina, Brian Cameron. Congratulations all around from his teammates. BG now with 4 unanswered in the quarter, and they push their lead to double digits for the first time, 13-3 with 2.5 to go.
You want to take something away from Luke Boulder, but I think he was actually in position. He came cross pipe. He was there.
I don't know what else you can do there.
No, there's not much, because earlier Coach Gerard was sending down a guy at GLE to meet Cameron as he came above. Now once they pulled that off, now Cameron scored a couple as he came above goal line extended. I mean, so
he doesn't need much of an angle.
No, I mean
he needs no angle. All right, BG, another face-off win. Off the bounce comes Lupo. Lupo keeps it all the way near side. Now going to drop it off for Cameron here. Goal line extended near side as we head towards 2 minutes to go, third quarter. BG in front big, 13-3. Bennett trying to make a run. He's near side against Twite.
A Fagan there.
Yep, a little low for Fisher. Now near side again.
Fisher.
For Koutsos. Koutsos shields it with the left shoulder. Comes to the far side. Runs out of room. Pulls it back out to the top of the box. Fisher. Fakes left, goes right. Had it poke loose. Good defense there by Bedford's Kirkpatrick. And now Kirkpatrick in a ground ball fight with Lupo. Kirkpatrick trying to hunt there along the far sideline.
Kirkpatrick's working hard here.
Yeah, this one turning into a scrum, and now finally Bedford comes out with it.
And that's Krasinski that came out with it. He's pretty good on the ground, man. He comes up with a lot of ground balls.
Yeah, he'll take it to the midfield line himself, get rid of it along the far sideline, and we're down to 90 seconds, third quarter. Meanwhile, Fink bobbled the ball, recovers in the far corner. He's closed out there by the BG defenseman Nick Gould.
And if I'm Fink, I probably want to start dodging a little bit here from the wing or from X.
Down to just about. Down to 1 minute here in this third quarter. Bulldogs trying to score their first second half goal. Kusick. Near side being ridden hard, trying to power his way middle, turns, fires, and hits the pole.
It's a pipe. I mean, we've seen a lot of pipes tonight, I'll tell you that.
And one, I think, along the near side pipe. Meanwhile, Heitmiller going to take the outlet pass behind his own cage for BG. And he's got a man trotting along the far sidelines as well. Can't quite. Who was that there? That's Gould again. Now McGinnis spins across midfield for BG. And we are down to 30 seconds here, third quarter.
McGinnis is so comfortable with pressure on him in the midfield that I think some of that stuff is just intuitive. That spin dodge he just had there that made the crowd go ooh, and then he really should have been stripped. Somebody went to his back shoulder.
Haley goes middle, and waiting at the top of the crease is Eric Poublon for the score. The senior getting one for himself here, his first goal. It comes with 16 seconds to go, third quarter. And BG starting to blow this one open. It's 14-3.
And we're seeing the senior again, Zach Keenan, come out for BG.
Yeah, Romanek, you think he's done?
I think he is on senior night, unless, you see a run here by Bedford. Why not let the senior get a little extra run here tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, again, what do we say? Somewhere in the high teens in terms of the number of seniors on this BG roster. 46 total players on the varsity team for Coach Cameron, which is the largest team he has coached here at Bishop Guertin. And a lot of them, as we talked about, were seniors, and they were honored before the game here tonight. All right, final seconds, third quarter. Quick shot by Clark, denied there by Heitmiller at the doorstep. And that is how we will end quarter number 3. All Cardinals in this second half. They add on 5 more to their halftime tally and lead it here 14-3 as BG looks to stay unbeaten. What'd you see there, Russ, in that third quarter?
You know, I saw Bedford come out early. They've won a couple of face-offs now. It's still the unforced turnovers, and they don't seem to have an answer for the BG attack. Now, Bladian, if I'm not mistaken, hasn't hit one yet, right? And he's been coming around. I think he's been stripped a couple times.
Yep.
So, you know, you talked about what can Coach Gerard do a little different? Throw him a different look. Maybe shut Brian Cameron. Do something different to try to get the ball back on the ground. Make someone else beat you, I guess. The problem is there's a bunch of other guys on the other side of the field that can, right?
Right.
But, you know, maybe you shut until it gets, or when it gets to a Bladian, and then you try to go get it. I mean, you want to say that, but then a Bladian will run by you and pop 2 or 3 in. You know, so it's a tough scenario. Reality is you have to win between the boxes, and currently Bedford's not winning that battle.
Well, again, simulcasting tonight with our friends over at Bedford Community Television, BCTV. Going out live. You can find us on YouTube as well if you missed the game via BCTV's YouTube channel.
I'll tell you, I'm really impressed with you guys. Are a bunch of pros here. I mean, I just come and I use the microphones. You know what I mean? But this organization here, this is something. I mean, you guys are using all kinds of fancy words I'd never heard of before. You know, I'm a pretty smart guy, I think, but man, some of the stuff you were throwing out there, you know, this is like a different language.
I guess the nerd side of me coming out a little bit, but yeah, we got to get up and running somehow.
I didn't know
sometimes it's not pretty.
I didn't know there was a non-nerd side in it. You know what I'm saying? My goodness, no. I mean, I find this stuff really cool. I know nothing about it, and I got to tell you, it's quite the operation.
Well, the cool thing is that we can be up and running live anywhere in the world within an amount of minutes, and that's unbelievable. That, frankly, was not always the case in media. So
I'm just happy I can hear your guys' voice crystal clear over here.
Yeah, we're glad to have our visitors and listeners, rather, tuning in from across the country and across the globe here on FNLNH.com. We remind you to tune in Sunday morning as well to FNLNH.com for FNL Lacrosse, 9 to 11. And that's for hardcore lacrosse heads for sure.
Oh, definitely.
I just play traffic director on that show.
Well, so we just got the answer to your question. Luke Romanek came out and took that opening draw in the fourth quarter.
So Coach Cameron not quite done with his star freshman.
Well, I have to tell you, Zach Keenan has won 2 in a row forward. You know, I mean, I'd probably keep playing that game. He's been playing pretty good. What a move by LaFrance.
Yeah, LaFrance passed behind there for Bedford, behind the cage.
There
Out it comes, nice quick shot and a score. It's Kusick from the far side wing, goes top shelf to beat Heitmiller. Bedford gets their first second half goal on the board to trim the lead back down to 10 at 14-4.
You know, just to show you where I'm at, I probably would have taken the shot that Devin passed up, and he moved it down to Gannon Lowry, who makes a wonderful skip pass over the top to Cusack. I mean, listen, these guys have been playing lacrosse together since 4th grade, but that look right there, that's next level. That's next level look.
That was the prettiest possession for Bedford.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Devin LaFrance beats his guy. That starts with everything, right? Draws a slide, moves it one. We move it a second time with a step down shot high. That was nice.
So 14-4, less than a minute off the clock in this fourth quarter. Bulldogs trying to string together a couple of goals.
Another draw here.
Yeah, that's one way to do it, is get the face off. Meanwhile, the long pole,
Big
quick
save.
shot, gets his own miss, and then
another
follows
goal.
it up with a score. That is Bedford's Brian Barlota, the long stick midi, the junior, with a terrific individual effort there off the face-off win. And the Bulldogs breathing some life back into the game, trailing at only 14-9.
Barlota can play as well, so he comes up with that ground ball, runs down. He's definitely a threat. BG doesn't slide to him. He rips a shot. Great save by Heitmiller in the cage. Just gives up a rebound, and Barlota follows his own. That's, like you said, great individual effort, but not surprised. I've seen that before. He's good.
Well, now they send in the senior. I mean BG, Zach Keenan.
Barlotta's got another one.
But he can't win the face-off this time. Scooped up by Barlota.
That's actually a good timeout by Coach Gerard as well, because now you have Barlota being attacked. Obviously, he's got a long pole. What you're looking for is a long pole on a long pole, right? That kind of action. There's so much stick out there, and that pole was getting ready. I don't exactly know who that was, but he was ready to go and chop some wood. And great call, saves a possession, and now maybe you get a little run out of this.
Yeah. That is the first called timeout of the second half by Bedford, so they do have one left. Trailing here on the scoreboard, 14-5.
If this is a 2-goal game, Coach Gerard likely doesn't even call that this early in the quarter. But they need some. They
Yep.
need a run here. They
Yep.
need some goals.
Yep. They've put together two straight back-to-back goals after getting blanked there in that third quarter. BG, after leading at halftime by a score of 9-3, added 5 in that third period. But Bedford clearly not about to roll over here.
Absolutely not. There's
in
pride
Nashville.
factor here. These guys all have to shake hands after the game and look the other guys in the eyes. So they're gonna keep battling. There's no doubt. And listen, it's no coincidence that they've just popped a couple in, coming off a couple of face-off wins. Like I said, that's a potent offense over there in black.
Yeah.
So if they can get the ball, they can put it in.
So the Bulldogs in their road black, red and white uniforms, working it right to left here against the home team in the white, gold and green. It's Toscano. A little bit of room along the near wing. Closed out, though, by Fisher. Swung to Kirkpatrick. Far side now, Kusick. Kusick trying to muscle his way against the defender, Lupo. Joe holding his ground, though, despite giving up a little size.
I'll tell you, you look at Joey Lupo in street clothes and you go, there's no way that kid's that strong. And then you watch him play, and he is as strong as a bull.
Yeah. Pass across the zone intended for Clark. Goes wide, and now a whistle.
That was a good look inside. If they could have handled that, might have been a goal. But they did end up stepping in the crease, so it's going to be BG.
Yep. The Cardinals will take it. Coming up on 2 minutes gone by, fourth quarter. 14-5 BG trying to protect the lead. Fisher across midfield. Start and stop. Near side, Brian Cameron. Goal line extended. Going to bring Aganos behind the cage. Looking to turn. Far side. Quick shot. Whistles over the head of the goaltender.
That thing
and out of bounds it goes near corner.
That thing was moving. I mean, that's that same shot we saw Kyle Fink take, but it was actually to Brian's strong hand, whereas Kyle did it to his offhand.
Bladian
drew the slide.
Yeah.
Got to move that thing.
He's got two on him. Goes up top. Sean Cameron thought about it. Trying to wiggle his way free. Goes far side. And now draws the assignment of Kusick. Trying to shake him off. Comes back middle. Bouncing shot. Wide. Kept in play behind the cage by Brian Cameron. Draws a double. Goes middle. And we've got a whistle here as somebody pushed Prunier from behind, it looks like.
What they're saying essentially was that he held his stick down. So they're calling that, I think, a hold. But yeah, that's Prunier country in there. I mean, he can move in there, and when he catches, he normally gets rid of it.
Cameron trying to muscle near pole. Shot wide. It bounces out of bounds. Far corner. And a good hustle there by McGinnis to save the possession for BG. Nearly 3 minutes gone. Fourth quarter. Cardinals looking to reestablish a 10-goal lead. Shot. Bouncer. Wide from McGinnis. Again, Brian Cameron, the first one there.
And that's an offhand bouncer from about 12 yards out. You know, with a lead like this, it's probably best not to do that, right?
Well, I'd imagine you want the clock to become an ally, right? If you're BG. Meanwhile, Sean Cameron, he'll whip one. Tough shot there from the far
essentially is a
side.
possession shot, right? Right. Everybody's over there. He couldn't make the pass, so he rips a shot over the net, knowing he's got back up there by number 7.
Good
and now look at the matchup they have here now, right? So they've got a pole without the slide there.
Yeah, it's one-on-one with Brian Cameron. Dangerous there, but Aganos does force the pass. Up top, Haley, bouncer, that one wide. Again, though, it's BG in position to
We
keep
actually
it.
saw an adjacent slide there. You don't see that too often, but that was an adjacent slide with someone in the crease. You normally see it come from the crease, but that's what stopped Cameron on his dodge there.
That's something perhaps Coach Gerard discussed?
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, because if you're, listen, everyone can read the slide coming from the crease, but with that said, the play before that, it came from the crease, so you don't know if that was the players that did something.
McGinnis had it chopped loose from behind, and this one turned over behind the cage. It was Kirkpatrick.
I believe it was Kirkpatrick. Yep, nice. I will say I watched him play against St. John's Prep, and he's a very good player. He went over the head 3 times in the game, and it wasn't as fortuitous as what just happened there. So.
Meanwhile, Kusick double-teamed and stripped from behind by Prunier. BG back left to right. Prunier going to throw his shoulder into the defender, Kirkpatrick. Trying to bring him for a ride behind the cage. Finally gets rid of it. Far side, goal line extended. Brian Cameron, shake and bake. Middle, spins left over the shoulder shot there.
Behind the back there. That was a nice little move.
Bull waiting in the crease. Comes up with the save for the Bulldogs.
And Sam Prunier getting way up the field to try to get it back again.
Just over 4 minutes gone, fourth quarter. Still a big Cardinal lead on the board, 14-5. Bedford trying to clear right to left. Up ahead, long pass, a little too strong, but
they got it.
Played off the bounce by one of the Bulldog attackmen there. That was Gannon Lowry, and now a timeout, you're right, is called by Bedford, and that is their final timeout here, their second and final of the second half.
Now, you saw Sam Prunier get up the field, get the ball back. I know the Prunier family, and he has an older brother, Nick, who took so much pride in riding.
Yep.
Was one of the better riders that BG's ever had. And, you know, for the young players listening and everything else, if you ride hard, it's 10 to 12 more goals a year for you if you're an attackman. So, you know, Sam gets up the field, knocks the ball loose, and now BG gets another possession. You know, Bedford needs to start getting a little more of that so that we can get the ball back down that Bedford side, keep it there for a little bit.
Well, Big Brother knows a little thing or two about winning, right?
Absolutely.
Three championships as a member of the Cardinals. And, of course, his father a big supporter of the program as well. So
a proud Bobcat from Bates as well.
There you go.
Basketball player at BG back in the day.
I forgot they were the Bobcats.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Well, 14-5 here. BG fell behind 1-0 early on in the game as Bedford scored in the opening minutes of the first quarter. And then BG rattled off 8 in a row to take a commanding 8-1 lead. Bedford did respond just before the first half came to a conclusion. They scored back-to-back goals to cut into an 8-3 lead. BG, though, did strike in the final seconds of that second quarter to take a 9-3 halftime lead. And then the third quarter was all Cardinals as they added 5 more goals to the sheet, led 14-3 after 3 quarters. And Bedford able to add on the only 2 goals so far this fourth quarter as we approach the midway point. Bedford still down big, 14-5.
You have to wonder to a certain degree how much Coach Cameron's going to show now when they're on offense or defense for that matter, because there's a good chance these teams will meet again in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the playoffs coming up, and
Coach Gerard might be trying some stuff as well to see if it works.
That could be a potential second round semifinal matchup, perhaps, depending on the seeding.
Now that was a nice take.
Fink with a shot wide. It'll stay with Bedford.
Fink was crafty there, again with the left hand. But that was a nice overhand left shot.
Lowry will put it in play from the near corner. Out to Toscano, deep on the near wing.
Toscano drew the pole, so essentially what they're saying is, Cusack, you can go against our shorty, see what you can do with that. And he took a nice shot.
Quick shot. Yep. Rings the bell. Ball going to roll to the far sideline, out of bounds, back to BG.
And that's
good look, though.
That's a great backup by Cameron Ramazi.
Meanwhile, full sprint left to right. BG going to clear it. I think that's Prunier with it. No, it's not. That is Cameron Erasmi, right?
I believe that's the pronunciation. I think I just butchered it right before you.
I think it's Erasmi. I hope it's Erasmi. He's going to trot off now after getting rid of it. Here comes Lupo. Near side, quick pass, middle, one-time effort
They called him up in the crease.
Yeah,
there.
He was in the crease. He hit the pole on the shot.
I think that
was Albadian, right?
No, I think that was Lupo that took it. I don't know who that. Let me just see who that is. It's 35.
35 or 15?
That was TJ Quigley, and that was actually a really nice play. I mean, he fell into the crease on that, but that was a nice handle right to a quick stick.
Yeah, it would have been a highlight for sure.
Absolutely. And
here's a quick shot and a score for Bedford.
And that's Devin LaFrance. I mean, like I said to you, when he can get his hands away from him, he is so crafty. Both he and Gannon Lowry's stick skills are off the charts. So if they can get their hands away, they can put it in the net. You saw Gannon have one with that same tight angle. And right there, Devin LaFrance crosses his hands over, and, you know, there's only so much a goalie can do. You know, he only takes up so much space in the cage.
So LaFrance with his first. And Bedford's third of the period as we just crossed the midway point of this fourth quarter. Bulldogs trying to make it respectable. It's 14-6. And you know they're going to challenge PG for the remaining 5:48. Meanwhile, off the face-off, we've got a whistle. And they're going to give this one to BG. Violation there against the Bulldogs, and that's going to allow the Cardinals, if they want, to tick this clock down a little bit further.
Now, this is the first time I've seen Cam Fagan in a while. There's so much depth at the midfield for BG. So you see them use, they're probably used 11 or 12 guys already in the midfield, but Cam Fagan rolls in early, pops a couple of goals, and I haven't seen him for a while. He's got the ball now with a shorty on him, so
he had back-to-back goals in that second quarter. And now Fagan trying to draw the attention of the defense.
I'm sure if he would have ripped now, there's times to shoot that shot he just passed over. This is not the time for that, but that's Mason Carroll with the ball there.
Yep. So some of the reserves here on the attack getting some looks here late for Coach Cameron Erasmi on the far side wing. Tries to draw the double team. Going to spin his way along the far sideline and basically just playing keep away here at this point. Pass near side, in and out of the stick of Carroll, and now a hit and a flag is going to come. A couple of oohs and ahs from the crowd.
Yeah, I thought that was a good defensive play. It wasn't. I mean, he was standing still and just pushed him over a little bit there.
It's going to go against the Bulldogs. Is
not exactly what the Bulldogs needed.
Yeah, Andrew Twite going to trot over. He hangs his head. Has a word with Coach Gerard. Inside of 5 minutes now, and again, BG going to go on the EMO.
And so
they've been successful.
As much as they empty the bench here at the end of the games, they do keep their EMO out there because they might be trying some different things, right? And remember, they've got Duxbury coming up. They've got the playoffs coming up. They might be looking to see what they can get there.
Yeah.
What they're looking for right now is an open look inside or something like that. And in worst case scenario, they just pull it out and kill off the whole thing. I mean, that might have been something there that Drew could have ripped.
Like Fagan not quite ready for the pass, top of the box. Loose ball, tracked down though by BG's McGinnis. Back to Fagan, near side for Haley. Behind the cage, Brian Cameron.
Pruney are very active inside here.
Sean Cameron, McGinnis, one time, in and out again of the stick of Fagan. Backed up though by Haley. Whips it behind the cage, Brian Cameron. Back near wing. Haley lets it fly, and it flies out of bounds, far corner. It brings us to 4 minutes even to go, fourth quarter, still 14-6 BG.
I love to see the BG coaches still coaching out there. So that wasn't a great shot by Drew. His hands weren't in the right spot, and they're telling him on that.
Quick shot by Sean Cameron.
Next year at Merrimack College, who's going to be playing for hopefully a national title here. So, you know, you still got to keep coaching all the way to the end. Like, get these kids right. Get them ready. That's what they want.
Yeah, Merrimack has become one of the best programs in all of NCAA Division II action.
They are playing on Sunday night. I think it's 7 o'clock down in Merrimack in the Final Four. So the winner of that goes to Gillette.
Brian Cameron, as BG continues to work clock. Sean Cameron is going to shoot and score.
I mean, that's from way out there, too. But, I mean, you saw where that went. That's top corner.
Comes from the far side wing, and, yeah, that one dead on.
Something tells me he practiced that a few times.
Yeah, probably the two of them.
Yeah.
Brian Cameron, another assist, by the way. You know, he only scored 2 goals tonight, only, I say, but obviously when you look at the assist numbers, he's right there on most of them.
I will say, I mean, it's a show of maturity. He may not have had that a couple of years ago. It's okay to not score 7 goals.
Right.
If you get 9 points and you have 2 goals, well, you did something right.
Right.
You know, so you have to take what's given to you and not force your issue. There's times that you have to play when you're getting shut off and things like that, but it shows maturity.
Bedford going to win the face-off briefly, but ground ball is scooped up by BG's Bjorn Supplies. As again, some of the backups getting some action here in the final 3 minutes, fourth quarter. 15-6 is the BG lead. As it looks like the Cardinals going to pass another test and stay undefeated. If you're Bedford, what do you take away from this here? I mean, your club at least went out and competed, right, for 48 minutes tonight?
I'm not sure that Bedford Bulldog Lacrosse takes away any sort of moral victories from anything. You know, they want to win these games.
Yeah.
These are the kind of games that they've been in for the last few years. You talked about what BG does out of the state. Bedford plays a very difficult out-of-state conference schedule,
right.
I mean, out-of-conference schedule as well. So
meanwhile, Toscano, a spin, a shot, and high save by Heitmiller, who was ready at the top of the crease for BG.
I think after this game, you shake this one off and you go get it. I mean, there's no reason why Bedford can't be in the finals again. So it's just a matter of them having to keep playing. They've got the guys. There's no question.
Meanwhile, a hit here is going to spar it loose out of the stick of Jack Matsuzuki. Picked up by Fink, and now Fink draws a flag here. He's still got it. He goes around the ref, who just threw a second flag.
I don't know what that was for.
I think the ref got hit there by accident by Max Twarwick. And that's when the second flag came out. We'll see what the explanation is as we move inside of 2 minutes here. Meanwhile, Bedford still with possession right to left. Again, two different flags are down on the field along the near sideline.
That official is Tim Bentke. He should be used to getting slashed. He and I play in a men's league together up in Bedford, New Hampshire, the Sportsplex. And so I can't imagine that was the reason for the call. There might have been a comment after the call. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Might have been something on that. We'll find out when he comes to the sideline to give us
Well,
the
for
numbers.
you to hit him is one thing. To get hit by an 18-year-old while you're wearing the pinstripes is,
what are we
probably a different thing.
What are you saying here, Nick?
Well, I think it's a little tougher to swallow if you get knocked down by a teenager. Right?
Well, with that said, I don't think he threw enough flags tonight, and he's got a nice bar in his house that he put in. It's called Flag Down Bar. There's a reason he's throwing these flags right now. Nice place, but I've not been invited over, as you can imagine.
He's got a slash on the second guy, right?
Maybe instead of sitting over here horsing around, we could have watched what the calls were.
Slash on both.
Two
slashes.
Okay.
Well, if you're going to get one, you might as well get two. That's what I always say, you know what I mean?
He's having a word with an animated Coach Cameron right now. Coach playfully slaps him along the helmet.
I think Gerard was asking for an additional slash call there.
Bedford trying to add one more here. They trail at 15-6. We're down to a minute 15 to go in this fourth quarter. Fink on the bounce pass. Toscano near side. Thought about it. Goes back door.
There.
Yep. Cusick, far side, sets up a shot for Clark. He's denied at the doorstep by Heitmiller.
I'll tell you, Cusick is crafty. He went Canadian there, which went across his body and tried to shoot that in. It was a nice save by the goalie, but not everybody can make that play that he just made. He caught it with his right hand, went across, Canadian, and pops it. If that goes in, that's another highlight reel. And like I said, Cusack's good, man. He's got good skills in tight. Bedford is listen. They lost the game tonight, but they're going to be in the discussion here at the end of the season.
We're down to 50 seconds, fourth quarter. Bulldogs continuing to work the attack, but they're going to turn it over here. Fink not ready at the top of the box. Ball sails out of bounds at midfield, and now BG going to scoop it up. Lupo on the run. Takes a look at the scoreboard and sees that the clock is ticking down towards 30 seconds.
Lupo, a very smart player. I mean, he's not going to make an unforced error this time of the game. That's for sure.
Yep. Looks like Coach Cameron's guys are content with playing keep away here for the final 25 seconds.
He's got Jack Johansson out there, who's a face-off guy, who's getting ready to play a little offense.
Scooped up here, trying to skip his way out of the frame is Erasmi. 15
Cameron's a good player too. He's not getting as much burn as I'm sure he wants, but he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, he logged some minutes in the second half for sure.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot, yeah.
And that's going to do it. So BG flexing their muscles a little bit. They stay undefeated, and they get this one done in convincing fashion on their home field on senior night by a final score of 15-6 over the Bedford Bulldogs.
And this is the part I like to see now. So the kids, these guys all know each other. There's alumni from both teams. That some of them are back from college. Some came here just to watch the game from the local colleges. And now you're going to see them all get together. Obviously, the two coaches highly respectful of each other.
Yep.
Listen. You compete out there, you get sweaty, you slash each other a few times, and then you go hang out afterwards. It's a great game the Creator gave us.
All right. We will talk about this one in its entirety on Sunday morning. 9 to 11, another edition of FNL Lacrosse, only on Friday Night Lights New Hampshire. That's FNLNH.com, FNLNH.com. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Again, final score 15-6. BG beats Bedford. Russ Moyer, some final thoughts before we say goodbye.
Like I said before, BG is a very good team. I look forward to their matchup with the Massachusetts #1, but do not count the Bulldogs out. Right? They're going to rally. They're going to rally the troops here and come back and be playing. So they are a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs. And you just saw two of the top 5 teams in the state play right now.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the opportunity to get in here. I always love coming out on nights like this.
Yeah.
And listen, hopefully we can
do it again in the playoffs.
I look forward to it, yeah.
The upcoming tournament in the next few weeks. Stay tuned, so to speak, for that scheduling information. All right, about time to go home, take a shower. I want to thank my friends at BCTV, the great Bill Jennings and his whole staff. I want to thank Pete Palladino and his staff as well here at BG for rolling out the red carpet. For Russ Moyer, I'm Nick Anastas saying so long. Final score, final time. BG 15, Bedford 6. This has been a presentation of NHIAA Lacrosse. right here on both BCTV and Friday Night Lights New Hampshire. We'll see you on Sunday, 9 a.m. on FNLNH.com.